Hey, hey, party people. It's Cliff. Good morning. It is a bright day today. Bright and sunny. And I am going to clean the windshields. I hadn't filled up the, whatchamacallit, hadn't filled up the reservoir and the windshield wiper fluid in a while. But it's still in there, so I guess that's good. Nothing in particular to talk about things today. I'm just gonna enjoy a nice drive to work. Everything's good. Got together with some friends yesterday, watched a movie, The Host in 2006. I can't pronounce the director's name, but he did Parasite. Bo Joon-ho? Yeah, wild movie. Wild movie, great movie. Hopefully there's nobody coming. All right, let's go. Let's go on our little drive. Hopefully it's recording this time. Yeah, fun horror movie, like Korean, almost like a Korean drama. Somebody walking in the side of the road, almost in the middle of the road. Whatever. Sometimes these drives, something will happen at work, or traffic will be traffic. People honk at each other. And I'm just like, there's not really any need to. I was coming back home yesterday from a friend's place, the movie, and you'll see this all the time in LA and big cities probably. There's a BMW, looks fast, all that stuff, darting in and around in traffic, getting to the exit. And I'm like, I guess if that's what you want to do, like, there's going to be a news story of, insert person who got, whatever, like killed in a car accident here because you're going too fast. I'm going to blow my nose because AI won't do this. They won't do mistakes. I suppose that's what I was thinking about this morning, was how do you combat AI? I heard that Sora 2, or Sora, was shutting down its services. And yeah, they had $1 billion contract with Disney, but they said they canceled that, and they said, nope, we're closing down to focus on more real world applications. And I saw that in a news article. Who knows if it's true or not? But, I think a lot of folks are wanting to find something real, just like movie night we did with our friends last night. Hung out, had some popcorn, and AI is just not cutting it. It's a great tool, just like all the other tools in the shed. A lawnmower, a socket wrench set, fix your car. But, we'll see what happens. It could be the first of many dominoes, or not. We'll see. Well, plenty of options to go through a yellow light or not, but we'll just hang out for right now. But yeah, I think the way that people are going to combat AI nowadays is to intentionally make mistakes. Intentionally make errors in their videos. And it'll be slight, right? Like there was the one, like during the Oscars when Conan O'Brien had his speech, he had a little flub, and that was totally okay because he just brushed it off and like kept on moving, and like nothing was wrong with it. But if you play back that video, you could see like where he's like, he makes a little thing, and that makes us all human. It makes us more real. And I think AI is very, it has to be. That's the thing. That's the conundrum. It has to be correct. When you're using AI to like do like voiceover, like text to voice, it has to be exactly what you text, what you type. And sometimes I'll type the word wrong and it'll say the word wrong, and I'm like, that's kind of amazing. But I don't know. plenty of people that are going to combat AI and try to do those things. But yeah, nothing else going on. You know, boring is good. Why boring good? Because it's consistent. And if it's consistent, then it's stable. And then if it's stable, then you can plan. And then when you plan, you can, plan to do good things in the future. And that's when you can, yeah. That's cool. I like that idea. That's fun. Oh, man. Now, see, just like this guy who was behind me in this silver Honda, he's weaving back and forth in the roads. I know you can't see him, but he weaved back and forth a couple times. Now we're at the same stoplight, and he's next to me. He was behind me, then he drove in front, and then he curved to the right, and I'm like, why, man? There's no need to do that, but then again, sometimes I do the same thing. Sometimes I'm just like antsy, and I want to get somewhere, and I want to weave in and out of traffic and get to the place, but not all crazy like that BMW guy, man. I saw this other video yesterday about Alan Richardson. He's on a motorbike, and he's like the full video of him like driving around in his neighborhood on his motorcycle, and a douchebag neighbor comes out and like literally like gets like right in front of him, the neighbor, and it sets Alan off. The actor, he's in that War Machine movie, which is a fun movie. It's like, this is a good fun movie. But if you watch that in video in its entirety, you're just like, why bother? Why is this neighbor like all up in this random guy's face, even though we know it's a famous celebrity? And he goes on TMZ, and he's all the neighbor is all calm and like, oh, I can't believe you did this in the neighborhood and whatever. And there's clips that are circling online that are just clips, 5-second, 10-second things. I think the other video I remember seeing was this one adult in a place, like just sitting either. It's all about context, right? And there was this one adult, I think it was in a playground or sitting in there, and then he just smacks the shit out of this kid, and like hits him, and the kid falls down, and he's crying and everything, and then everyone's like, oh, that guy's terrible, and then he consulted his lawyer, and then he's like, well, should I release the full video? And the lawyer's like, yeah, release the full video online. And then he released the full video online. The kid's basically going up to him like 30 seconds before, like hitting him on the knee, like calling him names, like shouting out at him, and like hitting him and pushing him, and the guy's just like, what are you doing, kid? Like, leave me alone. And eventually it gets to a point where you react, because the kid's mother was filming it to get a clip. Context matters. That's all I'm saying, is like, and that goes back into like not rushing about things, like just like, you don't need to speed on the road. You don't need to react quickly. Everything just calm down for a second and say like, okay, I've watched this video, I see what it is, but what's the context of it? Like, how is it affecting my emotions? Do I get upset? If I get upset, then the video is doing a certain thing to you, and you want to just hold off for a second. I think the fella Chase Huge, the behavioral expert, I can't even say it this morning. The behavior expert online has a good thing about. He's very eloquent in the way that he speaks and the way that he chooses his words very, very precisely. I am not that. I slur all my words all over the place, but the principle is true. Is like, if something is reacting to your emotions, and it's getting to you, which is all what Hollywood and entertainment is about, but it's understood like emotions and feelings and all that, then that video has sort of done its job. But then you, as the person watching the video, have to recognize that it's doing this thing on you. It's getting at you. It's poking at you with a stick, you know. So, what is this guy doing? Oh my God. Okay, he's making a right turn. 15-minute drive in LA would be like a 10-year drive in any other little small, like, suburb city in, middle America. That's what I think. But hey, I was thinking Saturday Night Live UK. So great. I think it's better than the American Saturday Night Live. And they just had their first episode this past Saturday, and I was like, those skits are funny. They are hitting it on all cylinders, and they can dive into subjects. Don't stop for people. Oh my gosh, see this truck right here? And somebody's handing some homeless guy some money, which is, oh my gosh, people. Yeah, the poor homeless out here, that's another conversation. I have a way deeper conversation than a 15-minute drive to work. But, essentially the idea, or at least like from, the idea is that if you give somebody money, right? Well, it's the old saying, right? It's like, teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life. Or if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll live for 1,000 years or whatever it is. And if you give money to a homeless person, they're just gonna go out and spend it. And really, homeless is a mental health problem. It's not a housing problem. You could have people that will argue, LA living is expensive, and it is. But kind of the benefit you get is that, 360 days out of the year, it's, perfect weather and sunshine. It's not going to rain on you. But, at the same time, oh man, that's such a deep subject with the homeless, because you have homeless that are like legitimately like they've lost everything. They're down on their luck. They're trying their best to get out of whatever situation they're in, and then they fall into it. Then you have other homeless who choose to be that way. And then, the homeless problem, it's kind of like you have to wrap it all into, everything. It's like, okay, well, who's going to pay for it? Taxes, all right. Well, there's already been programs where, X amount of dollars goes to the homeless program to like try to fix it, and then that money just disappears for whatever. And really, like, if you wanted to think about it, if a homeless person can't take care of themselves, or they choose to be homeless, you can't just go in there and round them up, and say like, whoa, move to here. Some states will do that, like, and it will help. People are doing it at the airport nowadays. The ICE agents, those guys. What a crazy time we live in. But like, the solution to homeless is to really clean up whatever things are causing them to do the things that they do, and when there are no opportunities for that. And I know like even the entire industry is a little bit shaky right now. Even I'm a little bit shaky, like, sure, there's great movies that are coming out and the summer blockbusters are there, but it's a very, very small percentage of the total amount of people that, make entertainment. And, homeless goes away when you give people hope, and you give people, work, and you give people like an incentive to, to get out of their situations. But I don't know how to do that. Longer conversation, and it requires like, it requires thought, I don't know. Wow, this got down into the dumps, didn't it? On this video. But I hope you guys are being okay out there. I'm about coming up on work. I don't know why people get into work so early. I don't know. I don't get it. Maybe because I leave late, but But I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. Unredacted thoughts. That's coming from me. Hope you guys are good out there. Bye.